Lagos is the business capital and the main destination city for most assignees. However, Abuja, which is the capital of Nigeria, is becoming increasingly popular. Lagos is both vast and congested. Most expatriate housing is located off the mainland in the areas of Victoria Island, Ikoyi, and Lekki. Victoria and Lagos Island are connected to the mainland via bridges and causeways, which are very congested, especially during peak hours. It can take between 1 and 3 hours to get from one side of the islands to the other. It is therefore advisable that for families with school-aged children that they select the school first and then focus on housing in the same area to avoid the frustration of hours in traffic. There's a great deal of new construction on the islands, however housing prices are still quite high. It should be noted that rentals are typically paid in advance for the entire rental period. For this reason, corporate leases are more common than individual leases. Demand outweighs supply, so assignees need to act quickly to secure their selected property. Due to the demand, it is not uncommon for assignees to stay in temporary housing for quite some time. The most popular housing styles are apartments, duplexes, bungalows, or townhouses in the newer gated communities. Apartments vary in size between 2 and 5 bedrooms. Upscale complexes typically have communal facilities such as gyms, swimming pools, and indoor children playing areas. Apart from short-term accommodations, most rentals are unfurnished. Some landlords will negotiate to supply furniture, however quality is not up to Western standards. Homes in gated communities tend to be large and quite elaborate. The typical lease period is a minimum of 2 years, with the entire rental amount payable in advance. Since the demand is very high, landlords can dictate these terms, and companies must realize this ahead of time. An early termination clause or diplomatic clause is not common. Landlords may refund the upfront rental amount if they find another suitable tenant. Another cost that should be kept in mind is that in addition to the security deposit and real estate commission, which is typically between 5 and 10% the total cost of the lease, the tenant is expected to pay the full legal fees, which can amount to another 5 to 10% of the total cost of the lease. These legal fees are due to the standard process, which involves the landlord's attorney drawing up the letter of offer, which is presented to the tenant for signature. It is typically required that the security deposit is paid to hold the property while the attorney drafts the lease agreement and negotiations can begin. Lease contracts favor the landlord, and it is important to negotiate and agree to any lease improvements prior to signing. Once signed, it's extremely difficult to get landlords to agree to any maintenance or improvements. A few other things to keep in mind. Lagos has an equatorial rainforest type climate. For the majority of the year, it is humid and wet, therefore air conditioning is essential. Electricity supply is unreliable. Most homes in Lagos are equipped with backup generators, and electricity is normally paid in advance, and most homes have prepaid meters. Backup water tanks are also essential, with bottled, purified water recommended for drinking and cooking. Pets are typically allowed in housing compounds, and Nigeria has very few requirements when importing pets. It should be noted that due to the humid, wet climate, pets find it difficult to adjust. Lagos has a number of international schools: American, British, Dutch, French, and several local private schools. International schools follow their home country year and curriculum. Long waiting lists are common, so it is important to start the application process as soon as possible. It is also important to be flexible. If your first choice is not available, always have a backup. As for most African cities, security is a concern for expats and families. Companies should provide a security briefing for their expats. Gated communities and secure apartment complexes with alarm systems are recommended. It is standard practice for local security to inspect homes before leasing. Companies will also hire vetted car service companies, as it is not recommended that expats drive. There are good healthcare facilities in Nigeria. However, expats and their families should have a full checkup and/or vaccinations before leaving the home country. If you've never been to Nigeria, it is essential to have a pre-assignment look-see to see what it is really like. Take full advantage of the orientation trip to review housing, schools, traffic, quality of life, and what the security concerns will be. Expats and their families should be aware that they may not have the freedom of movement that they are used to. Parks and outdoor facilities are limited. The best shops, restaurants, nursery schools and domestic help is found by connecting with other expat families and social clubs. Websites and links to information are limited. Religious and cultural ceremonies play a very important role in local Nigerian lifestyle. Learning about the cultural aspects of Nigeria before arriving is very important. Approximately half the population is Christian and the other half being Muslim. While in Nigeria, expats tend to support each other and develop a unique sense of community that they would not necessarily have in their home country. Most expats love Nigeria for its excellent food, restaurants, wonderful music and unique culture. Expats will find specialist stores which stock imported goods, as well as a number of Western-style shopping malls with cinemas. Local Nigerians are very proud of their country and are only too happy to share their favorite restaurants. Nigerians are warm, welcoming, charming, entrepreneurial, and quite tech-savvy. Nigeria has a well-established, educated middle class. Living and working in Nigeria is a unique opportunity to experience Africa. Be informed but open-minded, and your experience in Nigeria will be rewarding and memorable for a lifetime.